This one is a very interesting story, guys. I absolutely love this, and when Jonas showed it to me, I was like, oh, wow, very interesting. Here you go from Sora News 24. Not that Sora. A different Sora. Tokyo Disneyland fails to get top spot in survey asking Japanese kids what theme park they want to visit. This by Casey Basile 2 days ago. A surprising number one pick wasn't Universal Studios Japan either, but we'll get into that in just a moment. For decades, Tokyo Disneyland has been the default image when people in Japan think of a theme park. However, Disneyland might be losing its status as the go-to mental image for a theme park amongst Japanese kids, and in a recent survey, it wasn't the park they most wanted to visit. Japanese publisher Shogakukan, I believe, recently released the results of a survey which collected results from 1,000 readers of its monthly Chow magazine, which is aimed at elementary school age girls. The survey asked them which theme parks they haven't been to, and not surprisingly, Tokyo Disneyland was at the top of the list, followed by its most high-profile rival, Osaka's Universal Studios Japan. Coming in behind them in order were Tokyo's Sanrio Puroland, Nagoya's Legoland Japan, and Adventure World, a combination of amusement park, zoo, and aquarium in Wakayama Prefecture, I do believe. 4 of those parks were also in the top 5 responses for the survey's other question. What amusement park do you want to visit? Legoland came in 5th, with Tokyo Disneyland 4th, Sanrio Puroland 3rd, and Universal Studios Japan 2nd. So who bested them all in the big names when it came to the theme park world? Chiikawa Park. Very, very interesting. The thing we want to focus on, though, is why Tokyo Disneyland was 4th amongst this survey. Jonas, I'll go ahead and give it to you. What's going on with Tokyo Disneyland?
First of all, I will not be able to pronounce, let alone comment on Chiikawa. There's 2 eyes in there. I don't know if there's a glottal stop or what in the middle of all of that. But congratulations to whoever you are. You have captured the imaginations of the readership of that magazine. I think it's fascinating that Universal Studios Japan out there is cleaning Tokyo Disneyland's clock. Over here, the Americans, we have this fantasy of oh, we're going to do an international thing and we're going to see the greatest theme park that ever existed. I can picture a guy from maybe another news site quietly saying, they ought to be ashamed of themselves here for what they've done. I dislike it for all of the reasons that are appropriate, but Tokyo Disney Sea is the greatest, but anyone else who says it is wrong for the wrong reasons. But Tokyo Disney Sea is supposed to be the greatest theme park that has ever existed. It's supposed to be this monument to Imagineering. And the problem is, as it is with Epic Universe versus what Disney has right now, it sounds like kids are more interested in fun things rather than following your social media posts about how you design your park. Disney is supposed to be a strong global brand. Well, is it a global brand just because you have the infrastructure to be a global brand? Or is it supposed to be so entertaining and so universal, choice of words intended there, that everyone loves what you do regardless of the language they speak? To me, Universal Japan right now, they have actual global brands. They got the Minions over there. They just shut down the Spider-Man ride. Sounds like they're about to get Pokemon. And when they get Pokemon, yikes. I think that might actually even change this survey there, even among these young girls that are the primary readership of that magazine.
Ciao.
Exactly, which I would love to visit Tokyo Disneyland. They've got the last remaining Splash Mountain in the world, and I would love to see Tokyo Disney Sea and see the work of people like Tony Baxter and the teams that went over there to do that. But this is amazing to me, because if Universal Studios is beating Disney in Japan and Universal Studios UK is coming around the bend, I think that's probably got a pretty good shot of beating Disneyland Paris. And right now Universal Studios does not have representation at Abu Dhabi, but maybe they could there, or at Dubai. There's going to be a high-speed rail 30 minutes, 1/3 of the time that it takes to go between those two now by car. They get a monorail over there, and I bet it'll be a pretty amazing monorail, probably like the Japanese monorails. I just see Universal on the upward trajectory, while Disney is like, we are going to spend so much more money than has ever been spent. That's what they've got right now. I just don't see where Disney is going other than letting other people handle their IP for them. So
that's a very interesting point. I want to go ahead and throw it to you, Culture. Before I do, I want to go ahead and bring this up because the most stressful places or tourist destinations on Earth were actually just measured by a survey or study group out there. And according to their results, they were saying that Tokyo Disney Sea was number 2 on the overall top destinations worldwide of the most stressful places, with 39.63% of stressful reviews. This was taking TripAdvisor and then amalgamating all of those and seeing which ones were stressful versus which ones were actually, good or happy. Number 3 actually was Universal Studios Japan, and then Tokyo Disneyland with 34.59% stressful reviews. Number 4. The article does actually go into why maybe perhaps Tokyo Disneyland isn't capturing the hearts and minds of children, talking about how you do have kind of a higher price tag, but you have aging IP as opposed to Universal Studios Japan that has much more relevant IP, specifically anime-driven IP that simply Tokyo Disneyland doesn't have access to. Your thoughts on that specific point?
I think they haven't had enough support towards the aging IP. If they had properly helped age the IP, they'd be in better shape. Disney's destroyed Snow White. The interest in Snow White's likely going to fall. They destroyed with the live action adaptation, the Dumbo, which was the most popular attraction there. They very poorly treated Peter Pan. They're literally destroying their own brands, and they don't realize that the lack of classical support for the theme and the story is one of the reasons why the IP is aging so rapidly. That's just one of the many reasons. The other thing is, for whatever reason, everything associated with Universal, which is Comcast, all the Comcast brands, those are being very well supported and not necessarily compromised by a lot of modern garbage. Which, despite the fact that Comcast pushes modern garbage, they're not doing it on the IPs that they can rely on for years and years going forward. The lack of innovation and creation from Disney they've been their own worst enemy. So if you're looking for reasoning, there's your reasoning.
That's very interesting. Ron, I'll go ahead and have you wrap us up right here. Are you surprised about this survey with these young kids right here? And how could Tokyo Disneyland maybe turn things around?
Oh, I don't know how they can turn things around. Look, for Disney fans, I think most avid Disney fans want to go to Tokyo Disney if we could, because like this, for example, like they don't have a Beauty and the Beast ride here. I would love to see that. They're inaccurate in their depiction of what they have for Beauty and the Beast here as far as the restaurant is concerned. You realize that in the Be Our Guest restaurant, it's actually called Be Our Guest, that the one room that they don't have in there is the room where Be Our Guest takes place in the movie, which is the dining room.
That's very true.
Always bugs me even when I walk past it, it bothers me like this to no end. This, however, is just a gorgeous representation of Beauty and the Beast from the screen in the 1990s to like a real life feeling like you're in the movie kind of thing. As far as what the intellectual properties or whatever that the people are interested in, I just think that in general, over the past, I would say even 20 years, there has been an overall decline in interest in Disney IP, because especially over the last 10, 15 years, everything that Disney's put out has gotten just a little bit worse and worse and worse. There are a couple highlights, but it goes back all the way to 2013 with like Frozen, and before that with Tangled, and a couple little highlights in there. But overall, you have new things that are coming out with, for example, DreamWorks and the things that they're doing over at Universal, and how to Train Your Dragon and the different IPs that they are coming up with. Disney has competition now like it has never had in the past. For a long time in the past, especially throughout the 80s, the Disney decade, they really didn't have like a super high level of competition when it came to especially what Disney was known for, which was their animated pictures. In the 90s, they clearly dominated. And that was, I would say, probably the last decade that they absolutely dominated the screen when it came to things that people actually think of as Disney. A lot of these new things that they've purchased, Marvel, Star Wars, even today, there are people that are upset that they put those in the parks because Disney diehard fans still don't consider those things Disney-owned IP, even though they really are. And it's just different now. And of course, what really have they done? I mean, everybody knows Mickey Mouse, but when you really think about the Mickey Mouse brand, what have they done with Mickey Mouse? Mickey Mouse doesn't have any kind of a prominent movie or anything. He's I mean, basically, he's the headline character of the parks while he's a sideline character everywhere else.
It's so true. And when you look at Universal Studios Japan, what kind of IP do they have? They have Super Nintendo World right now at Universal Studios Japan. They have Harry Potter. They have anime, which, by the way, Demon Slayer just became the biggest movie ever in Japan, and one of the biggest movies worldwide, actually, in the year 2025. And so I look at, like you said, Ron, this cultivation of IP, and I just think, like, what is Disney really doing? And I think we're seeing this at Walt Disney World, where you have 20-year-old IP in which they're investing in because they have nothing current. And so when I think about wow, what position might Tokyo Disneyland actually be in? I think they're in a real bad way. There's even talk that they might get into Marvel here, and I'm just like, guys, I don't think that's really going to necessarily turn things around, but hopefully they do, because Tokyo Disneyland remains, I think, in my opinion, one of the best Disney resorts out there in terms of sticking with customs traditions from Disney from the 1970s and so forth, and really excellent presentation. Otherwise, it's just the toxicity of the Disney brand currently is affecting these parks worldwide in a big way. Very fascinating to see.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.